Hi, this is Michelle from Outward Bound Finland. Today I'm interviewing Dr. Chris Loynes from University of Cumbria, who is outdoor educator. Thank you, Chris, for coming here to online interview.
You're very welcome. I'm looking forward to it.
Great. Could you tell me something about yourself, your background as outdoor educator?
Okay. I didn't mean to be a teacher or an outdoor educator. My first degree was as a geologist. And I went to teach in a school because it was the first job that that looked like it might involve some geology. And when I got there, the school said, "Would you like to do some outdoor education for the older pupils?" So I became an outdoor educator by accident. I really enjoyed working with the children. They were 14, 15, 16 years old, children who didn't get along very well in school and were truanting, didn't expect to have very good exam results and so on. And I really enjoyed them, and I enjoyed working outdoors with them. And quite soon we actually started making a difference to their lives. They actually started coming to school and they started passing exams. So, and I helped them go to college after they left school. So that was very rewarding, and I really enjoyed doing that. I then went to where I live now in the English Lake District to direct a outdoor organization and its work with young people. It was a great opportunity to experiment with lots of different ways of working, lots of different groups. And as a result of that, I started sharing that experience with other outdoor organizations here in the UK and elsewhere in the world. And that just led on to teaching about it in universities, and eventually I became a lecturer at the university where I'm now based, in the University of Cumbria. And I've been here in various guises, both with a foot in the practice of outdoor education, still working practically in the field, and a foot in the world of the university, teaching and researching now.
Okay. There is a lot of discussion about the right terminology in, is it outdoor education, experiential learning, adventure education? Which word or term would you prefer to use?
I prefer people to use the one that works for them. I don't think there is. It's not a singular term. A good friend of mine who lives in Finland actually said it's not outdoor education, it's outdoor educations, and we all make of it something, and that something can be quite different. It's a very, very varied field, very diverse field. I sometimes use the term experiential learning because I like to emphasize the learning aspect, the part that the participant plays rather than the part the facilitator plays. Sometimes I would use the term experiential education to emphasize that it is a construction, that it is a formal process of intervention rather than the informal learning from life. But I call myself an outdoor educator because that is the specific area of practice I'm most interested in, how we can use and work in landscapes of various kinds, with various activities, with people of all sorts, and that's the field in which I'm about which I'm most excited, which I spent most of my career.
Okay, great. Well, what does this experiential education mean to you in your life?
Okay, so my interest is in the practice of experiential education that explores with people the world that they are in. So that it's about encouraging their curiosity, their inquisitiveness about both the world that they are in and also themselves in that world. So it's working with people in all kinds of settings: urban, rural, wilderness, mountains, seas. as offering different situations that at that particular time in a young person's life or in an adult's life, that setting creates a space where they can ask questions of the world they're in, the world or of themselves, and it can stimulate them to think newly, in a new way about their situation, their relationships with the natural world, their relationships with the cultural world, their social relationships, and indeed, of course, with themselves in those situations. Mm. So it's an exploration. A good academic friend who's not well remembered, an English professor of education, once said that it's about offering people what he called semiotic devices, by which he meant things that are very curious to you, that attract your attention, you can't quite make sense of them, but you really want to know more about them. And that having set in front of somebody one of these situations, it could be a physical thing, a river, a mountain, it could be an idea, it could be a concept, a thought, a poem, whatever it might be, you then accompany that person while they explore what it means to them. And that's my philosophy of practice.
Great. And how do you see like the potential and the meaning of experiential education into the whole society, to our society or European, like in the whole European size? How would you describe that potential or the meaning?
Okay. In a couple of ways, I think that the outdoor education has always been on the edge of formal educational responses to in our cultures. I like it there. There are people who would like it to be more centralized, be more formalized, more part of everybody's education. But I think we would lose something of its power if we did that, because I think outdoor education, the outdoor spaces that we use to explore these questions of life and the universe, are on the edge of society, and that's where it's important that they should be there. They're places that we go to get away from the norms, the dominant worldview, those things that constrain or define us at certain times in our life, family, work, our own limitations of ourselves, and find new things about ourselves and about the world we're in that inspire us to move beyond the self-imposed limits, or to challenge and question the society that we are a part of. And if we, at this time in the story of our cultures, of our society, we are in a time of massive change as environmental and social issues mount around the world. And if I think it's a time when we really need spaces like those that the outdoors provide, where people can explore different ideas, different ways of being, different ways of exploring the world, of being in the world. So I like it being on the edge, and I like it being, if you like, political, so that it's a part of the life world where we can create a conversation with the established world and challenge and question it, and maybe contribute to more of a conversation about why we do things the way we do. Hey, why couldn't we do them another way?
That is interesting. We are honored to have you here to Finland next November, to Outward Bound Finland's 20 years anniversary, and it is great to have you to Finland to have a speech and workshop. Could you tell me and maybe some of the participants what can we expect from the upcoming workshop?
Okay, well, I've called it "No Pain, No Gain," so I guess that's one of my semiotic devices. I hope it intrigues people. What might this mean? It's an example of a norm in our cultures that goes back a long, long way in European history. The idea that you have to make a great deal of effort in life, but that if you do make that great deal of effort, you will get the reward that comes with that effort. And that is a good example of a value, of an attitude in our society that is very much reproduced in the outdoor world. You make the effort, you get to the top of the mountain. And the outdoor world is an example of how the outdoor world can be an experience that helps to reproduce the norms of our society. But there are times maybe when we don't want to do that. We might want to challenge the norms or explore different norms, different possibles. And so it's useful to be aware of these norms when they exist in our world. We're not so radical as we think we are sometimes. And then to consider whether we want those norms to be part of what we are practicing, or whether we'd actually like to do something differently. And I chose no pain, no gain, because we're at a time, perhaps particularly in the culture of young adults and young people, where they don't actually believe this norm anymore. They have made a great deal of effort in their lives, in their education and in their training and in their personal development, and there are still no jobs out there for them. There is still there is not enough meaningful work. That the purpose of society doesn't seem to be engaging, or the right idea about what life should be about. And so the effort has been made, but the reward hasn't been necessarily offered. So we're losing our confidence in this attitude. So I wanted to explore it and question it and say, well, what if we didn't reproduce this attitude? Or if we focused it on something new? So it would be an example of one value in society that I think it would at this time be interesting to question, and we could expand that in the workshop into considering perhaps what other values do we have that the outdoor world also reproduces, or and whether those are things that we would want to be more aware of and to ask questions about in the way that we set up our experiences and facilitate them.
Very interesting topic coming in. So we are having our Outward Bound seminar on 15 November, and if you audience want to learn more about this subject, please come there and you can hear about more Chris Loynes. Thank you so much for this interview, and I'm very looking forward to next November of your workshop and speech, and it will be a great honor to have you here. Anything more you would like to say or regards?
I'm just looking forward very much to coming to Finland. It'll only be my second visit to Finland, and I'm looking forward to meeting everybody. I've looked at the Outward Bound Finland information on Google and elsewhere. I'm intrigued and fascinated by the focus of your work. It seems very focused on nature and the environment, as well as on personal and social development. And so I'm very interested. I'm going to be very interested to learn more about you and your work as well. So I look forward to November.
Me too. Thank you so much, and have a great day, and see you soon then.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.